Let's talk now to Mary Sitole, who's from the Independent Trade Union for Transport Workers. Good morning to you, Mary. Nice to have you here. Talk to me. I find it always really distressing looking at images like that because, you know, these people are just doing their job and they're facing some really difficult circumstances. And this has got worse since the pandemic, hasn't it? So fewer people on the trains, but the number of incidents has gone up. Why?
First of all, I want to thank you for bringing this issue to the attention of the public. It's an ongoing issue that's really devastating. We shouldn't be seeing these things happening in this day and age. And I'm not an expert around wider social issues, but we fail to understand why, when there's less customers travelling, why the violence has gone up. But instances that we know of in stations are customers being upset because they've missed their train, the barrier is not working, they're not happy with the price. But we are workers, we don't set those prices, we don't fix the barriers. So to take it out on individuals who are just coming in to do their job, it's not right. It's not normal to get up in the morning, go to work, and then be attacked simply for doing your job.
There is something about rail travel in particular where, you know, if you miss that train or it's late or you can't get through the barrier, you can feel that heightened exasperation, and people do tend to lash out and behave in a way that they wouldn't behave in other contexts of life. But what is the impact that has on staff when they're coming home and they're telling their families about these dreadful experiences? Oh,
the impact is huge because you may look at it as it's just verbal abuse or racial abuse or being threatened with violence. But that impact is great because you go home, you're stressed out about it, so your relationship with your family is affected. But then we have even severe cases where people are actually stabbed and end up dead. So families lose relatives, there's financial loss, depression. So all these things, just because of one action of spitting, verbal abuse and stabbing, it's not right. The impact is huge and it needs to be addressed to stop it.
There's sort of two areas, really, aren't there? There's why are people behaving like this and what's making them feel like they're entitled to do that. And as you said, you can't be an expert on that area. That's a wider social issue. But what do you think, in practical terms, needs to be done in order to discourage this kind of behaviour and to protect staff better?
I think, first of all, most stations are not manned. So there's understaffing in stations. So that lack of visibility allows people to do whatever they want. So we need stations to be staffed. We need to stop lone working. If you by yourself, you get intimidated, so people can do whatever they want to you. And we also need legislation that can be a deterrent, because some people do understand that if I'm caught and I get prosecuted for this, then, you know, my life would stop. So it's important that there's legislation. But also, it's important for train operating companies to take these incidents seriously. It is not part of our job to wake up in the morning and go and be threatened. So they have to look for measures that actually help us to do our job and not normalise violence, because it's not right.
You use the word deterrent, and that's really interesting, isn't it? Because we know that in that example we showed there, Govia Thameslink, saying they'd invested £2.5 million in antisocial behaviour improvement plan. They said that's more body cameras. That sort of, you know, is after the fact, isn't it? That's dealing with the fallout and maybe hopefully getting some prosecutions using that evidence. What would a deterrent look like, though? How do you stop this happening in the first place?
I think it's talking to the public, educate the public that we are human beings just like them. We go to work to do our job. The government has to look at solutions that actually help people in terms of, have people got enough pay? Can people afford to earn a living? Because some of these things, although I'm not an expert, but if you're your earnings are low, you wouldn't want to pay a fare, so you'd bank the fare and cause distress to the workers. So we've had so many years of resources being undercut, and that probably does contribute to it, and so that government needs to be looking at that. Employers also need to be looking at risk assessments. So they do get incident reports, but what do they do with those incident reports? You have to have those dynamic risk assessments to continue to see what can be done, and probably you may find what solutions in terms of what's causing that.
Marisa Tole, thank you very much. Just to let you know, the Department for Transport has said the British Transport Police are hugely important, and they say the force was awarded a funding increase of almost 6% this year to support the crucial work that they do. Thank you, Mary.
Thanks, Mary.